Due to current restrictions, we're not out and about at the moment, so today I'm going to take you through the processing of a couple of images that I took in the woodland video that you may have seen. So today we're out and about in Lightroom. Right, so this is the raw file that we're looking at, and the first thing we're going to do with this is just push the shadows up. I want to see some of the detail that was in the trees, so shadows right up to get that result. Next we're going to put some initial colour in, and we're going to use the white balance for this, so we're going to increase the white balance and move it to the right, and that starts to paint in some of the autumn colours that's embedded in the picture. Next we're going to take the blacks down, because that starts to emphasise the shadows. Then what I want to do then is use the brush tool and darken the shadows further, because this will strengthen the picture if we darken the shadows. Probably not as much as that. It needs to look natural, so back to about that level. Let's just make the brush a bit smaller for these other shadows, and this starts to give the image some definition, because blacks are quite important in a picture. So I think just a bit more there. Let's just come along that edge there, and I think that's enough with that brush tool. I'm going to do the opposite now and increase the exposure in the highlighted areas. So we've darkened the shadows, and now we're increasing the highlights just a little bit at the back there, and also on the edge of these trees where the sunlight was catching the edge of them trees. Okay, we're happy with that. Next we're going to come down to the colour HSL colour panel, and we're going to saturate the reds, the oranges, which really make a difference, and also the greens as well. And while we're down here, let's just apply some vignette onto the image. We'll put a bit of dehaze in, just to bring out some of this background. The top right hand corner of the picture here is a little bit bright, so I'm going to use a graduated filter just here to bring down some of that light. So I'm just take the exposure down a little on that one. Then the trees have got a bit of a yellow cast on them. You probably can't see it too much. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the brush tool again, and I'm just going to highlight that with the mask so we can see which part of the trees we're going to change. That's probably enough. Take the mask off. Now I'm just going to desaturate the trees so that they're a little bit more whiter now. They haven't got a yellow cast on them that they had. Leave that one. Just want to bring the highlights back. There's some highlights showing here. Add a bit of contrast. Probably move exposure up a little bit more. I'm just going to add yet another brush to these areas at the bottom here. And I think one last thing to do is to add some sharpening, so we'll go 72 on the amount, leave the radius as it is, 50 on the detail, and 50 on the mask. And that's nice and pin sharp. So excuse me, we'll look at the comparison of the image there. What we've done, see how dull and lifeless the image was when it was raw, and through processing we've brought it to life in light and in colour, and that's image number 1. Onto the second picture to process then, and another raw file, and we've got a scene here of bracken, which some of it's still sort of rich colour green, and some of it has started to turn into the autumn browns and orange colours. The first thing I'm going to do here is just going to do a slight crop. So I'm just going to bring that left hand side in there. It's just so the sun is slightly off centre. I wanted to keep this in, this foreground. I'm going to call it an S-curve. There's a bit of an S-curve going on here from the front wrapping round there. So I do want to highlight that when I start to do the processing. So next we're going to change the white balance. We're going to move it to the right to really start to bring out some of the autumn colours, and that's warmed the scene up there. Okay, so back to this S-curve then. I'm going to use the brush tool. I'm going to brush in just a little bit of light and saturation. Let's just pull the saturation back a little. So we're just brightening up these parts of the bracken, okay, and particularly where we've got this S-curve. Let's just increase that exposure a little bit more. Okay, so and we'll also just do a little bit in this left hand corner to bring out the leaves. The sun, the shadows from the sun was lighting parts of this bracken, which is what drew me to take the picture in the first place. So some of these areas on the left here will brighten up as well, and also this side here. We'll just brush a little bit of light into there, a little bit more there, and I think we're happy with that now. So we have got this kind of S-curve, which is probably the main thing I like about this shot. Let's add some more colour then. So we'll come out of that brush. Let's come down to the HSL panel, and we'll increase the saturation on the oranges and the reds and the greens as well, and I want to go up and change the hue on the greens just to there, just to really make those greens stand out a little. Next, I'm just going to use a graduated filter on the top part of the picture, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to apply some dehaze to try and bring the sunburst out a little. Let's just bring the white balance back. Yeah, so that's brought the sunburst out a little. Just going back to the crop, the reason I just did that crop was to bring the sun slightly off centre, because the composition, when I took the shot, the sun was smack in the middle, so I've kind of put it off centre now by cropping that side. I want to, I think in the video I cropped it to a square, but looking at the image again, I quite like how the S shape goes out of the right hand side of the picture. Let's just add some contrast to the picture, and then I'm going to do some vignette, and I think we're actually there with that. It's quite a quick edit. I don't think I really want to do anything else with that. I'm happy with that second image. Let's just look at a comparison. So you can see in the raw file it was quite dull, and what we've done, we've very much added the colour in that was there, and we've just sort of brightened up some of those key areas of the image, and I think, it looks like it's on fire, the oranges and the browns underneath the bracken there, where the light's streaming down and catching it. But there we go, it's the second image. Oh, hold on, I've just noticed in the bottom here there's a little bit of lens flare, which you do get on wide angle lenses, so let's just remove that. There's something else I need to do as well. I've not added any sharpening, so we'll just come down to sharpening, and we're going to go 80 and detail 55, and then masking 40. If we just have a look at that, that's nice and sharp and detailed, and the image is very clean because it's ISO 31. If you look in the shadows, the image is very clean. There's no need for any noise reduction whatsoever. There we go. We're finally happy and finished with this second composition. Well, that's it for this video. Hopefully restrictions will get lifted, and we'll be back out and about taking pictures and making videos soon. So I hope to see you on the next video.